Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Jake Belden. And what we're going to talk about is how you don't have to leave your W-2 to begin in real estate. Guys, remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, entrepreneurs, really anybody in real estate, 2 to 5x their business by providing tools and resources to grow the business they want to grow and live that life that they've always wanted to live. So Jake, welcome onto our show.
Hey, John, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being on here. I know it's your first podcast, and I'll be gentle. And I'm excited to talk about your journey, right? Because that is a hot topic. When do I leave my job to start this full time? Or do I? And before we get into all that, why don't you tell our audience about you, kind of your background, maybe how you got into real estate and what got you here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from a small town, Middlebury, Connecticut, super small town. Went to Springfield College in Springfield, Mass, studied business, kind of your normal route. Got a corporate job out of college around 22 years old. Started working, climbed up a little bit of the corporate ladder. Started working your 60 to 70 hours like most corporate companies have you do. And around 24, kind of realized that, that's not the life that I necessarily want to live for the rest of my life. Started looking into ways to invest in real estate around 24. Basically listened to every podcast you could ever imagine for about 2 years until I realized that I was doing the same rotation for every 6 months, right? I think a lot of people get stuck in the analysis paralysis of, hey, listen to a podcast, maybe start step one. I don't know how to do step one, so maybe I'll just go listen to another podcast, right? So they just keep falling in that same loop. So, maybe it's the fear of it too. Fear is a mile wide, but only, an inch deep. So, really it's just a matter of taking that first step in. So around 26 years old, finally, started looking at properties and put some offers in with a buddy of mine, Matt. And we got going in 2019, when I was 26 years old. We invested in a 4-family in, Terryville, Connecticut. And basically everything you could ever imagine that went wrong, that could go wrong, went wrong. We needed a roof, we needed siding, we had to do an eviction, unfortunately. And at the end of the year, I sat there, looked at the numbers, and was still getting a better return than the stock market. So at that point, I was kind of hooked, I think. So.
Got it. Okay, let's go back. You studied school, you're in business. What industry did you go in after you got out of college?
I was a business grad, so I was in sales with a big corporate company.
Okay. What industry was that in? Just curious.
So I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, worked there for 2 or 3 years. Ended up managing the Hartford, Connecticut store.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Sweet. And
well, you say sweet. I don't know about that, but
well, but I like asking I like asking that question to kind of segue into this one. Is in this time, did you have any in your family, maybe a relative that was in real estate? I mean, did you have any introduction to this? What kind of led to that path of saying, "Hey, I want to buy property"?
yeah, I think I was probably very unhappy with my corporate job working that many hours. So I started trying to find ways to increase my income, but not necessarily the time needed to increase my income, right? So I think everybody to some degree wants to live a certain balance of life where obviously we all trade our time for dollars. And it's really just a matter of trying to, get dollars without spending too much time, right? You want to live a certain life. I grew up with my parents both being around at all times. My dad coached basically every sport of mine. My sister and my brother were always around. So I kind of want to live the same life, and real estate just seemed to be the answer to be able to do that.
Okay. So you started this studying, you said you had the analysis paralysis. What was your biggest fear, right? What was the thing that held you back in those 2 years, you said, from taking that step, that first step?
Yeah, good question. I think a lot of people have the fear, and it might just be unreasonable, or they might make things up in their head, right? Where they might say, "Oh man, well, if I fail, somebody's going to judge me, right? Or somebody's going to think this of me." And I mean, realistically, and you realize it after a certain amount of time, nobody's really thinking about you to begin with, and nobody cares, right? So I kind of had this thing where I really sat down and I was like, okay, so if I do end up failing with this property, which now I know is, it's not realistic, but if I did fail with this given property, what's worst case scenario? And worst case scenario is, I live with my parents and they, make me dinner every night, and that doesn't sound that bad, right? So, worst case scenario really wasn't that bad. So, really just a matter of getting over that initial fear and just really get it going. The other thing is really that relates to not just real estate, but any business, right? I mean, I have a bunch of friends or, people reach out saying like, "Oh man, I really want to start this insurance agency, but," right? And then they give an excuse, right?
Yeah.
"Oh, I really want to get in good shape. I really want to go to the gym, but." There's always a but, and really it comes down to a fear of something. So everybody's different, but jumping in is really the key.
And I think with entrepreneurship, whatever industry it is, I mean, I think that, we're told, go to college, get a job, work 50 years, then retire and live on a pension. Right. So people are afraid to take that movement into that entrepreneur spot. So when you got into, you got the bug to do real estate, you studied enough. Why did you choose? I think you said you bought a fourplex right off the bat. That was your first one?
Yeah, started with a fourplex, just found a good deal. The next three that I purchased, so I basically made an unwritten rule with myself that I was going to invest in one per year. So that's what I did. So the following 3 years I did duplexes. But really, I mean, you have your buy box, whatever makes sense with your numbers, go get it, right?
Yeah.
So the 4-family made sense the first year. The 2 families made sense the following 3 years, and really just a matter of finding the right deal that, cash flows or whatever your buy box is, that makes sense at the given time.
Why did you choose that asset class versus a traditional single family?
I think the market in 2019 obviously was a lot different than it is now.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
And I was able to buy those multiple income streams, not just one unit, but have, 4 units or 2 units, I think was big for me in terms of evaluating risk, right? So whatever the mortgage was, I think those first 4 years I was able to get, 3% interest rates. So that doesn't, that wasn't bad either, right?
Yeah.
But I think just having multiple units provide rent, in my mind back then, created less risk, which is funny because the past 3 years I've done single families. But again, I mean, whatever fits in the buy box or whatever makes sense, makes sense. And I really think more than, the specific, class, whether it's multifamily or 4-family or single family or a condo, it's really just a matter of making sure the numbers work.
Yep.
And, also putting down enough money. If you're working a W-2 job like me, you can probably afford to putting down the 20% every year, which is what I did. So 20% down each year instead of like trying to do these low downs and still trying to make it cash flow. I think, putting down the 20% in and, saving up the money and putting enough work in really helped.
Where did you learn your underwriting, right? Of how to really evaluate a property? Because most people, once again, when they're getting in, they'll get into single family. I know it's a different ball game when you're evaluating multifamily. So how did you learn that process?
Yeah, good question. I think I just really learned it on my own, podcasts and just like different things, finding stuff online. Everybody kind of has more or less the same kind of Excel sheets, with the appreciation, depreciation, all that different stuff. So, I really just kind of learned it on my own. Like I said, I was a business major and whatnot, so I kind of used my skill set there to help me with purchasing the real estate as well.
Got it. What were some of them, or if there were any mistakes you made on that first deal, or challenges, or pitfalls that you came across?
Yeah, I think the great thing about real estate is there's a different obstacle every year, and you learn something new, basically every year that you go. Year one, I definitely didn't do my due diligence with asking for, rent roll with, the current tenants, because we basically had to go through an eviction right away. If I knew what I know now, obviously I could have prevented that problem. But
Sure.
There's no way of doing that, right? You have to jump in and, learn as you go. The following year, I think it's really cool. I basically learned there's no such thing as a disrespectful offer. If somebody posts their house online for, let's say, 300,000, don't be scared to put the offer in that you think makes sense for you.
Yep.
When somebody puts an offer in, or when somebody lists their house online, excuse me, that's them telling you that they want to sell their house, right? So I remember year 2, we bought a place in New Britain, and they listed it for $240, and I put an offer in for $150, which sounds crazy, putting an offer in for $90,000 less than what they initially posted, but we ended up buying it for $165, right? So you just never know. And thing I love about real estate is if somebody does better than me, if somebody has an opportunity or found an opportunity that I didn't find, or if somebody's doing really, really well, it just means they worked harder than me, right? They picked up the phone, they called.
Yep.
You don't have to be a genius in this field. If you had to be a genius, I wouldn't be here, right? So you don't have to be a genius in this field. You just have to put the work in.
Yeah.
Shout out to this kid I went to high school with. His name's Arvin. He didn't have it any better than I had it. He doesn't have as much education as I have. He does a hell of a lot more deals than I do. Excuse my language, right? So he works harder than me, right?
Yeah.
You get out what you put in, with real estate, and that's what I love about this field.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah.
Get out what you put in.
100%. I know you mentioned earlier, I think you had a partner, Matt, or somebody on one deal. Why was it important for you to go out and maybe have a partner, seek someone maybe to help you with these deals or whatnot?
Yeah. Me personally, I'm not the most, let's say, handsy or like hands-on guy. So I think if you're going to partner, which I did for a few deals, you have to find somebody with a skill set in which you're lacking, right? So my buddy Matt, that's my partner in a few deals, 50-50 partner with me. He has a skill set that I don't have. He's very hands-on. He can fix things, right? He also he is not good with numbers. He doesn't know how to analyze a deal. He doesn't know how to put an offer in that makes sense, right? So, finding a partner that has a different skill set with you that, you can work hand in hand with is really beneficial if you are going to partner. Now, the past 3 years, obviously, I've realized, hey, I could get property management. I could invest this on my own. I can purchase this property on my own. I can get property management. I can still do everything I do and have 100%, right? So there's different ways to go about it. There's no right or wrong answer. Again, just as long as you're diving in and doing what you can to find the deal.
Yeah, and I think that's a hurdle or mindset issue of a lot of people that are new in this is, about finding a partner and finding someone else, is that they don't want to give up control. They don't want to give up any money, right? But, what I found is you got to hire out your weaknesses. That's the way to growth, right? So right now, what does your business look like? You're still working full time.
Yeah. I'm a general manager at a car dealership currently. Work about 40 hours a week. So that's the benefit of the way that I've done things with real estate. And there's different routes you can go. You could be very hands-on and, create this full-time job in real estate, or you could, take my route. You could still work your job 40 hours or whatever your job is, and you can still absolutely invest in real estate. You can still make a business out of it. I've taken the hands-off route. I still work my, normal W-2 job, 40 hours a week, while investing in real estate. So, you never know, like what's in the future. If you told me 5 years ago that I'd be investing in Florida and South Carolina, then I would think you're crazy, right? But you just never know what is about to happen or what what the future holds. So, in 4 or 5 years, who knows? I might, go full time with this. Right now, I'm really focusing on just continuing my income stream in multiple ways. And also with the website I launched, really helping beginners try to get going.
Have you set what they call like a freedom number, right? A certain amount of income from maybe properties you're buying that say, hey, now I can leave this job and go full bore?
Yeah, I definitely want the real estate to at least get close to what I'm making at the current, job. Not quite there. I think the number of properties for me would be anywhere from 10 to 12. Okay. So, you're pretty close. I'm about, let's say, 3 years away if I continue to do the same strategy that I'm doing right now. Again, not bad. I'm 32 years old, so if somebody were to say, hey, you don't have to work your full-time job anymore at 35 years old, yeah, I would take that 10 times out of 10. Right.
Oh, of course, we all would.
But again, things change. You could end up having kids, or which I don't have right now, but you could have kids, right? And you might need more income then, or things happen in life, and I think just preparing for it all and having multiple revenue streams is very important.
Yeah. And I know that some folks, when they hear about, investing but I have a full-time job, and their, maybe biggest roadblock might be, well, how do I have the time? I got a family, I got a job, I got kids. How do I have the time? I know you don't have the kids part, but tell us a little about your process. Like, how are you finding deals? When are you making time to talk to sellers, to make offers? When are you doing all that type of stuff? How do you have time to do it?
Yeah. I mean, I would say so in the past 7 years, investing in one per year, I would say it takes me about 5 to 10 hours a month
Hmm,
total to find the given one per year. So
got it.
if you really think about it, that's not a lot of time. If you divide that by the weeks, you're spending 2 hours a week finding a given, investment property that's going to cash flow you for as long as you want it to cash flow.
Hmm.
So again, you have to make that sacrifice. What am I doing? Multiple things. I mean, I've put offers in on, properties online, on Zillow. And, that was the New Britain one that I just told you about. No offer's a bad offer. No offer's a disrespectful offer. The
Right.
following year was during COVID. I met somebody at the gym. I ended up buying his property, totally off market. We were working out. He was next to me and we just got talking. I ended up buying his property the following year. So you just never know. Just keeping your eyes open, letting people know that you do this, I think is super important, right? If I, I've never done a podcast before. This is my first time, but you need to let people know that you're doing it, right? If I didn't tell that guy at the gym that, hey, I invest in properties, I buy properties, well, then I never would have found it, especially during COVID when things in New England were crazy, right? So
Yep.
there's different routes you could go. I mean, the last 2 years I worked with a company, LGI Homes, who was building new constructions, and offering those at discounted pricing. So there's different avenues, and just keeping your eyes open at all times and reaching out to people.
Okay. Are you just looking off for properties on the MLS that are listed? Are you doing any type of off-market marketing or
Yeah, I
anything like
mean,
that?
on market is definitely the primary source. But it's kind of funny. I laugh because, 2 weeks ago and a week ago, I've been driving, down roads and looking for, property. So you just never know. Like, I was driving down Meriden, Connecticut, and basically just writing down addresses, finding out who owns the property, reaching out to them, calling them. So combination, and again, whatever works, on market, off market. Off market obviously is more difficult to find the deal, but if you do find the deal, obviously the numbers are, much more lucrative, if
Right.
you could find a good off market deal, right? So
Right.
a little bit of everything, and just doing what you can. Discipline.
Mm, okay. Okay. Yeah. Good old driving for dollars, man. I mean, that's
That's
always been
it.
a staple, in my opinion, of anybody's business. It should be because, yeah, you find those deals that are ugly. So where do you see this? So you're only on the one property a year track. Do you ever have plans to buy more
Yeah, I
to maybe
think so. I
accelerate the
mean,
process?
yeah, I think so. I would love to. My focus right now is trying to help people get going.
Okay.
I would love to. I'm a big advocate of, beginners jumping in and getting in, whatever game they choose to do. It doesn't have to be real estate, but my website offers help with investing in the stock market or starting your own business. And not just getting caught up in that same 6 month cycle that I was talking about earlier. Um, so I think that's really important to me right now, impacting others. But yeah, you never know. I would love to ramp it up. Um, I I the good thing is I don't hate my job, so I'm going to continue to go to my job, and that could help me ramp it up too, obviously. So you never know. But the I think a big thing too is I have a great support system. So I have the best girlfriend in the world. I have a great family, and if you're really going to do this and you're going to dive in, I think having a good support system is, very, very important. Um,
Yes.
if you don't have it, then I mean, they're gonna think you're crazy anyway. My mom definitely thought I was crazy when I started this, but it's she would still say the normal hey, I support you, keep doing what you're doing. But support system is very important, and just staying disciplined and just doing what you can. If I could start doing two a year or get going in the flips, then great. I'll do it. But again, my priority right now is to try to help people that are stuck in that 6-month cycle of analysis paralysis.
Do you think it's funding or time, or what is maybe holding back from those two a year?
I think funding can be an issue a lot of times for, that's a great question. I think funding could be an issue for people if they are trying to get clever with their financing, right? If they start and they do a 5% down program and they're paying PMI and the cash flow is not there, right? Like that can really hurt you the following year or two. And I'm glad you brought that up because I definitely focused on doing normal conventional loans 20% down, which I've done 7 straight years. So, that's not easy putting 20% down every single year for 7 straight years. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of saving money. It takes a lot of, friends asking you to go out on the weekends and saying no, right?
Yeah, I was going to say avoiding those fun traps.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you need a certain level of discipline that most people, just pass on, right?
Yeah.
But looking back, nobody ever says, "Hey, Jake, you missed this great night." Like, no, they're saying, "Hey, Jake, you've got these 7 properties now, and you're doing a great job, and this and that. How do I get going into it?" Right? So, making good decisions and being disciplined. Back to funding, I think that's a potential obstacle of mine right now. I have 7 conventional loans right now of my own. Probably, yeah, which is, pretty crazy, but I don't think conventional loans are really an option for me at this point anymore. I definitely need to go the DSCR route.
Yeah, I was going to mention, have you looked into DSCR?
Yeah, for sure. I'm in talks with companies right now with DSCR loans. That's probably the answer. Fortunately, because I've put 20% down each time, I have a ton of equity in all these houses. So it's an appealing portfolio to a potential lender. So that would be my advice for anybody getting going. Hey, do it right the first time. If you're going to do it, try to do the 20% down route. Try to build up some equity. It'll only help your cash flow too, right? So
yeah,
I think that's really the way to do it if you can.
And that's great advice, right? And I was going to ask you, kind of, what advice would you give to someone? But what else do you think for someone to get off the schneid and just get going? What advice would you give?
Yeah, I mean, reach out to me, right?
Yeah, there we go.
But
while we're on that topic, plug yourself. Tell folks how they get a hold of you and how they can connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So probably Instagram. My Instagram is Jake_Belden_92. Or my phone number, 203-598-8268 is the best way to get in touch with me. But there's always an option. Even if somebody doesn't have the money or they want to get going, you can always partner with somebody else. You could partner with somebody like me that already knows the industry, right? Knows how to find a deal. There's always options. If somebody is listening to this and they have less than $5,000 in their bank account, you can still get going. You just have to probably partner with the right person.
Yeah.
So there's always options. And like I said, the great thing about real estate is really you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
It's not about what you have in your bank account. It's not about how much money you make all the time. Like there's always an option. There's always a way for you to be successful in this business.
And there's 2 things everybody has, money or time, right? If you don't have the money, but you have the time, find someone in your local market, someone that could teach you and give, right?
Yeah.
Just do stuff for free, learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And back to the fear thing, when you're starting out, the worst case scenario is you end up exactly where you are right now, right? So when you're starting, I would love to start out again. When you're starting out, like you have nothing to lose. Like make the phone calls.
Yeah.
Drive for dollars, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Make crazy offers like I made online, right?
I love it.
You could do it all. So yeah, anybody could do it.
I love it. Man, yeah, Jake, thank you for coming on the show today. I mean, guys, I hope you took a lot of good nuggets. I mean, you don't have to leave your job to get into real estate, but the whole thing is you got to start doing it. You know what I mean? You got to make that first step. I hope you guys had a great show. Jake, once again, thank you for coming on and sharing your story, man. I applaud you. I wish you the best in getting more properties. And, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.